My money would be on our next guest when it comes to personal injury lawyer. In a valley of so many, how do you determine which one is worth your business? Well, our next guest, as you're going to hear, has those credentials. This is Paul Pata of Paul Pata Law. Good morning and welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming in this morning.
Great to be with you, Mike, on this beautiful morning in Las Vegas.
I know you can't go wrong with a Friday morning.
That's right.
And then speaking of that, tell us a little bit about your background and how you really got involved with the profession, because I know you went to D.C. then came here.
So I've been living in Las Vegas since 2004. I moved here from Washington, D.C., where I was a federal prosecutor with the Department of Justice for about 10 years. And then I moved to Las Vegas to be a federal prosecutor with the U.S. Attorney's Office here. And then I started my own law firm in 2011 and have been in private practice since that time.
So I got to know, Las Vegas, it's got to be it's got to be a little bit upwards. The city of lights as your background. This is the city
of lights. It's a city of a lot of unique people, and the things that we deal with here as lawyers. But this is a city like no other in the world.
It's
and
very
it's
true.
A wonderful place to live. That's what makes it exciting. I don't think you can ever get bored in Las Vegas.
You can't. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
That's
Where'd you go to school?
So I did my undergraduate at the University of Chicago. I did my law school at University of Illinois, and then in between I did master's degrees at Oxford and the London School of Economics.
And you mentioned you stepped away from being a federal prosecutor to open your own practice. Why the decision to do so?
As a prosecutor, I was fighting on behalf of crime victims, and as a personal injury attorney, I always had that entrepreneurial streak and wanted to have my own business. I also felt that having my own law firm, I could represent and help a larger swath of people. And so it's just, that's kind of been a combination. The law firm has allowed me to fulfill my entrepreneurial dream and at the same time also be able to help people. And
that's a good thing about being personal, the name personal, because you're able to be one-on-one with the client to help them out no matter what their needs are.
That's a very insightful observation, and that's very true. In personal injury, I mean, it's injuries that are personal to the individual who's been injured, but you're right, the personal aspect of it touches upon something that I believe is very important in terms of what people should look for in selecting an attorney. Is that, does that attorney convey a sense of compassion? And do you feel that that person is going to be a fighter on your behalf?
I was going to mention, what are those keys that we should really look out for? I know we're showing some on the screen right now. Is really do your homework before selecting one, would you say?
Oh, 100%, absolutely.
And you get to have that experience, that familiarity. And we mentioned something, they go to court regularly. Can you explain that a little bit?
So, in personal injury, there's really two types of lawyers. There's the lawyers, some lawyers never go to court. They deal with more like claims. They'll submit a claim to the insurance company. They'll hope for the settlement. They'll try to posture the case in a way that maybe it'll settle. But I think you always have to be conveying to the insurance company the sense that if you can't resolve this case, you're going to go to court. And so it's really important to look for an attorney who has the ability to go to court. I've had a lot of experience in both federal and state court, and I think that having an attorney that has the ability to understand the personal injury process but can litigate the case in court, it just adds a lot of value to the case.
And speaking of going to court, I have to ask, because you recently closed a case, massive I'm reading this right, $160 million verdict for your client.
It was a very satisfying
I know it's very
result.
Personal, so it's like, how much can you divulge on what exactly this is all about?
I'm limited in terms of what I could say, but I will say this.
Keeping it personal.
Yeah, keeping it personal. 5 years of litigation. It culminated in a $160 million verdict. It was a long, hard-fought battle. And again, it's testament to the fact that you need an attorney who's willing to go the distance. This was a case where originally we had been offered like $50,000 to settle the case. So perhaps somebody would have just taken that money and said, okay, let's resolve it. But we thought the case was worth a lot more. What happened to our client was worth a lot more. And sometimes you have to fight on principle. And ultimately, the jury saw it our way.
And it's very evident from that. How can we get more information about you? Website?
Yeah, so my website is paulpatalaw.com. Our telephone number is 702-366-1888.
Well, we appreciate you coming in this morning and sharing these details with us, because you're right. It takes that personal touch to really get with somebody that you really trust. And as you heard throughout this morning, you get the results. So thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
If you've been injured, you need an experienced law firm to stand up for you.
I'm attorney Paul Pata, and I'm ready to fight for you.
Injured? Pick up the phone and make that call. Better call Paul. 702-366-1888. 702-366-1888.